Most men spend hours trying to figure out how to stay in a woman's mind, but here's the truth. Just 3 simple words, said the right way, can make her think about you non-stop. And no, I'm not talking about the predictable "I love you." I'm talking about words that slip under her skin and trigger part of her mind and make her replay you like her favorite song. Here's the secret. Women don't obsess over beauty or perfection. They obsess over feeling. If your words make her feel something that no one else evokes in her, you become unforgettable. That's why these 3 magic words matter so much. I'll share them with you in a second. But first, let me explain why most men get this entire concept wrong. Most guys focus on constant texting, over-explaining themselves, or trying too hard to keep her attention. But obsession isn't built through effort, it's built through impact. The right words don't just land in her ears, they echo inside her long after you've gone silent. And before I give you those 3 words, stay with me until the end, because I'll also show you exactly how to use them in a way that feels natural so she never sees coming, but always remembers. Imagine this. She thinks about you all day. Not because you bombarded her with messages, not because you chased her, not because you pretended to be perfect, but because of 3 small words that shift the entire dynamic. Those same 3 words can make the difference between being another forgettable guy and being the man who lingers in her mind long after she closes her phone. And let's be clear, this isn't some cheap trick, some corny movie line, or a manipulative tactic meant to control her. This is real psychology. This is how attraction operates beneath the surface. I'm talking about the unconscious mind, the part of the human psyche Carl Jung spent his life decoding, the hidden layer beneath logic, the place where real desire lives. Most people think attraction is a checklist. He's handsome, smart, polite, okay, maybe I like him. But if it were that cut and dry, dating apps would have solved human connection decades ago. The reality is different. The connections that move us most are emotional, symbolic. They happen beneath conscious thought.
Jung said it best, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will guide your life and you will call it fate." Think about that. The moments that stay with you, someone's smile, a comment that hits deeper than expected, a glance that feels like a conversation. None of those moments were ever logical. They were emotional triggers that slipped past reason and touched something internal. And this is exactly where most men fall short. They try to create attraction by doing more. More texts, more check-ins, more attempts to impress. But the more effort you pile on, the less magnetic you become. Because real attraction doesn't come from effort, it comes from resonance, from leaving a subtle but lasting mark, from saying things that bypass her conscious mind and settle into her unconscious one. That's why these 3 words matter. They're more than words, they're a symbol. They plant a visual in her imagination. They invite her into a narrative she can't help but imagine. And once that picture embeds itself into the emotional part of her mind, you're not competing for her attention with every other guy. You've moved to a different level entirely. You become the man she can't stop thinking about, even if she couldn't explain exactly why. So here's my promise. When this is over, you'll not only know what to say, you'll understand the psychological mechanism behind it. This isn't about making her obsessed for a few days. This is about creating a connection that pulls her emotionally, because it speaks to the symbolic part of her mind. This isn't magic. This isn't manipulation. This is simply how the human brain works. Once you understand it, you'll stop chasing, stop stressing, stop trying to perform perfection. You'll simply learn how to speak to the part of her mind that remembers everything. And that begins right now.
Here's the part most people never talk about. Attraction doesn't start in the logical brain. It doesn't begin with checklists. Nice, kind, stable, looks good, etc. Those things matter, but they don't make someone unforgettable. The connections that stay with someone long-term always begin in the emotional part of the mind. That's exactly what Jung studied. The idea that we're driven more by symbols,
patterns and unconscious pulls than we are by logic. People think they're making rational choices, but the unconscious always arrives first. That's why Jung said what he did about fate. If you don't understand the forces beneath awareness, you think your attraction is accidental, when in reality, it's emotional resonance, a reaction to tone, expression, energy. This is where many men accidentally sabotage themselves. How do they usually start conversations? With plain, neutral lines like, "Hey, how are you? How's your day? Hope you're okay." None of these are bad, but they create zero spark. They have no image, no emotional impact, which means there's nothing for her mind to hold on to, no emotional hook to replay later. Think of it this way. The brain doesn't store words, it stores feelings. You may forget exactly what someone said years ago, but you still remember how they made you feel. That's called emotional anchoring. Without emotional anchoring, even a nice conversation turns into forgettable background noise. And here's the twist. Your unconscious mind doesn't react to perfect grammar, polite text bubbles, or safe topics. It reacts to symbolism, imagery, suggestion. That's why one line with the right energy can be more unforgettable than 20 polite messages. Jung knew this. What stirs us most often bypasses logic.
When your words create a spark, an image, a twist, a feeling, you bypass her mental filter. She's no longer replying to be polite. She's replying because something inside her is triggered emotionally. So if you want to leave a lasting impression, you must stop opening with the same empty lines every other guy uses. Before you send that message, ask yourself, does this create a feeling, a picture, curiosity, or is it just filler? Because filler gets ignored, emotion gets remembered. Most conversations begin the exact same way. Safe, polite, forgettable. Kindness matters, but safe doesn't spark attraction. Emotional charge does. If your message doesn't interrupt her emotional autopilot, her brain files it away with everything else that feels the same. The mind remembers moments the way a painter remembers light. It holds on to what feels meaningful, not what feels routine. You'll forget the exact sentence someone said, but you'll remember the laugh, the pull, the curiosity. That's emotional anchoring at work. And this explains why, "Hey, how are you?" dies instantly. It doesn't create an emotional imprint. It doesn't stand out. Think of it like scent. One smell can drag you back 10 years instantly. Words do the same when they have emotional charge. They anchor themselves to memory. So it's not wrong to reach out. What's wrong is reaching out in a way that creates no meaning. Now here's where psychology gets interesting. The brain is wired for novelty. Anything unusual, unexpected, or pattern-breaking gets flagged as important. Thousands of years ago, this meant survival. Today, it means someone stands out. So when you say something that interrupts her mental autopilot, you activate that novelty switch. And if that novelty also carries emotional weight, you've created a double anchor. She notices you now, and her brain stores you for later. But novelty without emotion is shallow. It's a joke, a gimmick, a quick moment before fading. To stay in her mind, you need novelty and emotional charge. That's why one message can be the difference between being forgotten instantly and becoming the guy she keeps thinking about without understanding why. Here's the mistake men don't even realize they're making. They sound like every other man in her inbox. Same greetings, same predictable rhythm, same safe conversations. And when you blend in, you disappear. Not because she dislikes you, but because nothing you say creates a moment worth holding. So men compensate. They send long messages, add emojis, write lengthy compliments, ask rapid-fire questions just to keep the conversation alive. But the unconscious hates pressure. Attraction needs space, the tension between wanting more and not having it yet. When you flood her with attention, that space collapses. What felt exciting now feels heavy. Over-effort flips the emotional script. Instead of you being the one she hopes to win over, she unconsciously feels like the prize has already been handed to her. And humans instinctively devalue what feels too easy.
Constant questions also drain the mystery. Instead of feeling like chemistry, it begins to feel like an interview. Attraction is not about how much you talk. It's about the moments you create. Your job isn't to fill silence, it's to drop sparks. Small bursts of novelty, emotion, or curiosity that stand out against the noise of her day. If every guy is throwing water, you want to strike a match. A match changes the whole atmosphere instantly. A match has heat, tension, and energy. That's the difference between being background noise and being the memory she replays. Now we arrive at the heart of everything. The theory ends, the tool begins. 3 words so simple you might laugh, but if you use them at the right time in the right tone, they can completely shift the way she sees you.
Those 3 words are you and me. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's it? But here's what most people never understand. Power doesn't come from the length of the phrase. It comes from what the phrase symbolizes. You and me doesn't describe 2 people, it links 2 people. It places both of you inside the same mental frame. It forms a symbolic connection, exactly the kind the unconscious mind responds to. Jung said the unconscious speaks in symbols. You and me is a symbol. It bypasses logic and settles into the emotional container of the mind. Most men ask for things. Do you want to go out? Would you like to get dinner? When you ask, you hand her the power and position yourself as a petitioner. But when you say, you and I should grab dinner, you're not asking, you're framing. You're creating a shared possibility that feels natural and confident. The unconscious mind works like a movie projector. Most words give information, but you and me gives a scene. Her mind instantly imagines the 2 of you together, laughing, walking, sitting, sharing an experience. That image is the emotional hook. And it's subtle, not aggressive or overbearing. It's light, playful, suggestive, and easy to embrace. You're not demanding anything. You're offering a shared vision, something her mind can wander into, something her emotions can wrap around. That's why it works. You and me can be used endlessly. You and me should catch a concert. You and me would make a dangerous team. You and me, that sounds like trouble waiting to happen. You and me, we'd have too much fun. It creates tension, possibility, imagery, emotional resonance. And that is exactly how you make her think about you long after the conversation ends.